And I'd like to pass the last of the three questions on to Sabeeha, because I think it's one that you both you've got real experience in, but I think you also have the ability to talk about interpersonal engagement. And the question was really focused around, you're trying to network and you're trying to make all of these connections, and sometimes things don't go right. And now you've got this relationship that has turned into this thing that you just want to hide away from. Can you share a little bit of some of your thoughts of how to deal with that, and maybe even just some of the experiences you've had on that line?
Yeah, I think the way I want to answer this is to answer all three of your questions. The thing with networking that is so true in my life is every job and every client I've had, I don't have a CV. I remember I had to create one retrospectively for the last job for HR to file, and I was like, I don't even know how to create a CV because I was freelancing from first year. And in that freelancing, networking naturally happened. Like the first sales guy I met was at the gym because I didn't know how to use the machines, and he came to show me, and he happened to be a photographer, and then he got us gigs, and then he realized what I did and started selling on behalf of me. And then I started working with companies as a freelancer, and eventually they were like, we want to hire you. And many have tried and many have failed. And I've now learned I don't fit into those systems. But I've realized that when you treat people like people, when you treat a relation like a business as a person, you can actually just have a discussion. And it doesn't have to be a big pitch. It doesn't have to be a CV. I also didn't have a portfolio. And I still don't till this day, which I'm also not advocating for necessarily. just as an alternative is I always prioritize having a relationship with the people I worked with and understanding that, literally, Alfie, I'm here today on this because I developed the app that Alfie designed back in, 2017 the first project he did. And that's where ethics came in, where I didn't agree with the way the company worked. I didn't like the way I was treated. I didn't network the same way other people did. So I don't drink. And I have this awful memory of the boss bringing a bottle of beer and putting it on my desk because they were celebrating something. And he's like, I want you to drink it because we're celebrating. And I'm like, this goes against my religious beliefs. So I don't want to do this. And I stood up for myself in a lot of ways, and it was very, very hard in many occasions because I have a very specific ethical and moral code that doesn't necessarily align with the way people and do business and understand business. And at every single touch point, I don't think I've always dealt with them really great either, but in retrospect, you also need to know when to walk away. I think that would be the best advice. Is sometimes I fought so hard trying to say my piece when it was just easier to go somewhere else that valued the same things. And I think that's what it sort of comes down to me with any sort of relationship, in any sort of business, in any career, to thy own self be true. So even when you're trying to choose, where you want to go and what's the right thing, I think there's so much of pressure on this right thing that needs to be done. But goodness, what is right for you? Because I can't actually tell you that there's this magic bullet. And I think we keep looking for that with every person that we talk to. Tell me what's the secret. And the best secret I have learned is self-awareness. Who am I right now? What do I want? What do I value? What are my non-negotiables? And how do I then conduct myself in those situations because you will be presented on multiple occasions with things that challenge your ethics and challenge your morals. And the best thing I've learned to do is if we cannot resolve it, because you always try, you don't just break things off either, like you really try to resolve it. If you can't, you then need to leave. And some of those were, for example, data collection. I remember I was so keen on this product that was supposed to, save the planet, and da 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 da. And I bought into the mission, which I do with every single founder that I work with. And later on, it's like they were trying to collect these sign-up forms that asked for a bunch of stuff. And I was like, no, but why are you asking for this? It's causing friction. People are not signing up. And they're like, listen, we need data. We're going to sell this data, and that's how we make money. And I sat with that. I was like, whew, they didn't teach me this in school. What am I supposed to do as a designer? So I mean, that's why a lot of my postgrad degree was on the ethics of design and an effect on our mental health and so many different things. And I have ADHD, so I have a strong bias to justice, which is why I also remember everything that was not done, all the issues. And I mean, some other things were like BEE, which again is a massive issue, right? Where I am considered a black female or a black person in this country, so I have a higher BEE status. And what that means is that I have better opportunities to work with businesses that want to work with high levels of BEE. And for example, the partner that I had was white male. And at the time, we had a 50-50% partnership. And we reached a point where a business wouldn't do business with us because we had a level 4 BEE. And we had to then sit, what do we do? Do we change our equity agreement? Do we have underhanded deals? Do we, and unfortunately, it brought up so much to the surface of the base political issues that we're facing, which at our age, I don't think we have access to, right? We said we've had the same upbringing from, post 95, whoever, we were in the same schools, and he was even younger than me, and it was hard. That's the thing, where if you can't have the same values and you can't agree ethically on how and that's something that's important to you, right? Because it may not be important that you want to do business ethically, but to me it's the most important thing, even to as simple as dishonesty, where if I've been in situations where it's like, no, just say we did this project, I got into sales, which is learning to lie on a slightly different level. And it's like, no, just, pitch for this deal and say we did this and say that. And I was like, this just does not sit right with me. I'm just not okay with this. I'm okay to walk away from this, which is exactly what makes me unemployable, essentially. But also makes me great at my own business, because every single person, and someone in the crowd asked me, what is my unique selling proposition next to all my clients? And is that I will be blatantly honest with you. I won't take your money unless I believe it's of value to you, what I'm going to be doing. And I will put my heart at the center, because that's what I care about. And to me, that's how I ethically want to do business. So to thy own self be true, I guess.